Everyone's been talking about Megabonk, the survival hit of 2025, but what happens when you try to make Megabonk from scratch with AI? So today we'll attempt to recreate a version of Megabonk using 3 different AI models. We'll be using Sonnet 4.5 and 2 agentic models running on Sonnet 4.5 and Gemini 3 Pro. For all of them, I'll be using the same simple prompt, which is make Megabonk. And I'll only do 2 to 3 iterations to see which model best understands the concept of this game without much context. We'll be doing all of this on Rosebud, the platform designed for vibe coding video games. Here, it's super easy to swap between models, and you can even get automatic suggestions for improving your game. But first, what is Megabonk exactly? It's a 3D survival game like Vampire Survivors, where you face endless waves of enemies in procedurally generated arenas, pick up XP, and choose randomized upgrades as you go. Each run feels different thanks to unique characters, items, and quests, and the gameplay loops keeps you coming back for just one more run. A Megabonk style game needs 3 core features: a survival arena to run around in, enemies and combat dynamics, and upgrades or scaling difficulty. With those goals in mind, let's get into our first model, which is AI Agent running on Sonnet. So as soon as I typed in the prompt and set it out to Rosebud, its model just took it and ran with it, and it started expanding based off of its own training and creating the game. I always make sure to check this out because I find it really cool, but you can actually see the real-life coding edits on the left side and see exactly where the tweaks are made, so if you're looking to learn about the code, you can. And this was the first version that Sonnet's AI agent created for Megabonk. At this point, I was pretty confused about the game. I just walked around a little bit and it seems like I died instantly. Until I actually made sure to read the prompt closer and realized that I was actually meant to defend all of these objects that are falling from the sky. Now at this point it was pretty clear to me that this was not fully understanding what Megabonk was and that there were actually enemies meant to come towards me and I wasn't meant to defeat the balloons, but I thought let's run with it, let's try to make the balloons game work. And so after a couple more tries I realized that I'm either very horrible at this game or it is something's not working in here, but either way I needed to make it easier in order to be able to actually test it and be able to improve it. I didn't even see those things falling from the sky and I realized I didn't have enough time to look around to find them. So then I literally typed in make the objects fall slower, hoping that this would help me figure it out more, and well, this edit didn't actually take a long time. Even once it was implemented, I wasn't able to actually catch the stuff that was falling from the sky. You can see me struggle starting now and see that I'm just completely failing at this game. It wasn't exactly clear where I had to hit or what was happening, and again I died in a couple of seconds. So then I asked the AI to add in more lives because I needed more time to test it. And once I had more lives, and I was hoping it would also simplify the game, but it didn't really do that, I tried testing the game again and see if I got any better. Now, again, unfortunately, this was a huge fumble, and I didn't manage to build out a playable Megabonk with Sonnet's agent. I was a little disappointed because the last time I used Sonnet's agent, it actually worked so much better than any of the Gemini models that I had, and so I was already starting off on the wrong foot here. If you haven't seen my video about making GTA with 3 different models, make sure to check it out because that might actually provide some insights on how good this model actually is. Maybe it just didn't have enough context on Megabonk. Anyway, rolling back to the game itself, I tried to add in a tutorial hoping it would teach me how to learn, but then I got stuck at this middle ground and I couldn't get out of the area that said bonk. So I went back to the version history and rolled back to an earlier version, and then once that was ready I tried again and again to make this thing work, and again failed at generating the code. There were a couple of code errors that popped up, but the good thing is Rosebud can actually debug itself and fix itself. And then once I had a full health bar with like 10 lives, I was like, this is my time. Now, once again, I was wrong, and shortly after realizing this wasn't working, I was ready to leave the game. However, what I saw was that it implemented power-ups in the game, and I thought that was pretty cool. Anyway, let's roll forward and move towards Gemini Agentic. Now, again, hopes high for this one, and hopefully Megabonk actually resonates with this model. And let me tell you, Gemini understood the assignment. It understood the assignment so well. It took its time coding in the beginning and understanding what was going on, understanding the basic file and the basic ask. But then once the code was generated, this game was amazing. I was so happy with it. I almost didn't even consider doing iterations on it. Now you will see what I'm talking about in just a second, but this model, the Gemini 3 Pro Agentic, cooked in making Megabonk for us. And the first version already included a player, which is this blue blob with enemies running towards it. And if you can see, all of these enemies have somewhat of a placeholder feel. They're all little cubes and cylinders and stuff, but they're wearing sunglasses, and it's very clear that they're running for you. You have a little hammer and you can fight them off. It took me a second to figure out how to fight them off, and that I actually had to click them. But I got better at this game, and I saw my health decreasing much slower after a couple of rounds, and I really understood the addictive hook. It was very well reproduced in this game. Now, the only thing that I could have added in at this stage was power-ups or a more dynamic scenery. So do let me know if you want to see me reproduce this game with a different, more complex dynamic. Otherwise, I was so satisfied, I was ready to move on. And so I typed in make Megabonk to just Claude Sonnet 4.5 without any agentic capabilities, and I was ready to see what it came up with. The interesting thing on Rosewood is that you can also select whether you want a 2D or a 3D game, and they already have a couple of really good 2D adaptations of this Survivor game on their website. But I really wanted to see if Sonnet could do anything similar to what Gemini did earlier, especially considering that its AI agent version didn't really work or didn't do its magic as it did with GTA. Anyway, after a couple of minutes of waiting, it was saying that it's really thinking about the problem, it's interpreting it, and I was just so excited to see if Sonnet 4.5 could do any better than any of the agentic models. It actually produced something that was completely useless. And once again, this was a situation where after the initial prompt, I was ready to give up. This is me kind of playtesting the scenery and the territory and trying to figure out how I can move around in this game. And I quickly found out that the keys to move WASD didn't actually work. And I realized that I could shoot at least some sort of golden globes around and like look around in the game. But it wasn't taking me much further. Now I could have probably iterated on this and add in some enemies and fix the keys. But from a one prompt, one shot experience, this just was not there and it wasn't producing what I wanted. Let me know what game I should make next, and thanks for watching.